The BBC gives you Shakespeare and David Attenborough. PBS gives you Pledge Drives and Big Bird. You decide who's winning.
Do not mess with Big Bird.
Don't mess with David Attenborough.
No. Do not mess with Big Bird. He was like one of my closest friends growing up. And I loved him dearly. He was my only friend growing up.
This explains a lot about you.
You're getting better at that ball catching thing.
Yeah, you wait. Once we get to like episode 52 or something, never mind. Never mind. As you were.
Welcome to Two Sides of the Pond, where my good friend Matt over in the UK and myself, Dwayne, hangs out with you and just basically gives each other shit the whole time. So today we are talking about BBC versus PBS. And you attacked my childhood idol, Big Bird.
Yeah.
How dare you? Why would you do that? Do you even know who Big Bird is? We'll start there.
It's a big yellow bird from Sesame Street, because we had this conversation before the podcast.
Shut up. That's the only reason why you know who Big Bird is. Because
were you hoping?
Right, so let's
Were you hoping that I was going to pretend that we hadn't had that conversation to give you the chance to teach me something, and I've just ruined it for you by being like, I know exactly who it is because we spoke about it 5 minutes ago?
Well, let's just pull back the curtain, why don't we? Just like we do on Patreon. Oh my God.
Keeping it real. Right. Sorry, that was rather camp of me. I do apologize.
I'm the one supposed to be camp. I'm the gay one.
Yes, we're just sort of keeping the personas here. It's all good.
Okay, but what you don't know is what a pledge drive is. We have talked about that before we started.
Yeah, I have no idea what that was. Yes, I've never heard of
what a pledge drive is.
So you explain that one. Do you know what Shakespeare is?
I do.
Cool.
I am familiar with Shakespeare, although who else did you mention in the intro? David
Attenborough. You must know David Attenborough. We're going to have a big falling out if you don't know who he is. I'm going to get on a plane right fucking now.
He sounds familiar. What was he in?
He does the commentary to a lot of nature-related programs on the BBC, like Planet Earth and Planet Earth 2.
What, not Planet Earth 3?
I don't think that's been a third one, to be honest. It is 1 and 2.
Is that Shane Ritchie?
But you must know him. He's been all around the world, and he has a very distinct voice. He is a icon in the UK. He is a national treasure. That's what we say, a national treasure.
All right.
And it's going to be a real sad day when he kicks the bucket.
Well, Big Bird's a national treasure over here, and I guess that says a lot about the US versus the UK.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh my God. All right. So in the BBC is publicly funded and owned by the British government, right? It's pretty much funded by TV licensing fee.
Yes. So we pay. So we effectively own the BBC, but yet we have no control of the shit they give us on the TV. How diabolical is that?
That
I don't like it.
That's a lot. That's pretty similar to having the king running everything. Yeah?
He doesn't do shit. The fuck does he do?
I don't know. You tell me.
Nothing. It's a tourist attraction is what it is. Doesn't do anything.
Do I get to meet the king?
I doubt it. You can see his palace.
You can see amongst the crowd of
tourists. Yeah, exactly. You can see the people with the big fluffy cocks on their head.
Well, here in the U.S., the PBS is a private non-profit corporation. It's composed of independently owned member stations across the U.S. So we do a lot more educational shows where BBC does have some educational.
We have a lot, yeah.
So you have more entertainment where we have more education. You have some educational things going on
Yeah.
BBC.
We also have news though
Nature,
as well.
apparently.
Yeah, we have
You have what?
documentaries. We have news as
Yeah.
well. BBC is also news.
Yes.
So it's a big news source.
Now, I keep hearing jokes around here that Radio 4 is just a snooze fest. Is that a radio station?
Yes. If it has the word radio in it, it's probably a good
Radio 4
guess
is
that it's a radio.
just a radio, but just radio. They don't have like a streaming TV service.
No.
Okay. So
This is BBC Radio 4 you're referring to.
okay.
I'm assuming so. I'm assuming you are. Because BBC has got multiple radio stations as part of the BBC network, I believe. And I'm assuming BBC Radio 4 is one of them.
So at the end of every PBS show, they say a thank you to everybody who has donated money. And their tagline is viewers like you, meaning it's the viewer donations that happen multiple times throughout the year that pays for the funding. It funds the whole idea of putting these TV shows on air for people. Now, Sesame Street is a huge one for me growing up because they would teach children things like the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. At one point, they were teaching you Spanish because there would be Spanish-speaking cast members. Then they had. This is where we kind of differ. When you call people a Muppet, that is what Sesame Street is. They created the Muppets through Jim Henson.
Okay.
Yes. So that's where Muppet comes from here. When you say Muppet,
carry on. My camera just died as it usually fucking does because it's a bag of shite. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, hi. So Muppet is a licensed term, a trademark term for Jim Henson and what the puppets that he creates. And they were all started and introduced to the public through the PBS, the public broadcasting system, through Sesame Street. But we also had things like the Electric Company, and where we were introduced to Spider-Man on TV on the Electric Company. So it was a lot of educational things where I learned how to count to 10 in Spanish on Sesame Street, and we learned a lot of,
Do it. Count to 10.
No.
Can you not do it?
Because I will be chastised by every Spanish-speaking person that listens.
I can do it, I think.
Can you? Let's see.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Where did you learn that?
Fuck knows. Duolingo, I expect.
No, seriously.
It wasn't on Sesame Street.
No. You don't have Sesame Street at all, do you?
No, we're not fucking broken.
There's nothing wrong with Sesame Street. I don't believe
there's nothing right about it either.
Sesame Street introduces younger children to things like African American, Spanish speakers. It's very diverse. We came, not we, but wait. Sesame Street also came up with the first autistic Muppet and introduced children to autistic children and how to talk to them and how to make them feel comfortable. Show me on the Muppet where the bad man touched you.
So you say Sesame Street it teaches diversity. America has got a serious fucking problem when it comes to accepting other types of people. So it's really fucking failed then as a form of media to teach. It hasn't really done its job, has it? Because there is a serious race issue in America.
Yes.
So it hasn't worked. So what's it fucking taught then? Would it be worse if you didn't have Sesame Street?
I think that I really do feel at a certain point, children are sponges up until the age 5 when they start primary school. which is the age demographic of Sesame Street, to get them prepared to go to school and be around other children. And then it's up to the teachers at this point to teach about diversity, because the adults in this country, yes, have huge issues with race. And if you don't look or sound like yourself, then we find that we have a huge problem with that. I don't agree with that, and I think at some point the pendulum will swing completely the other way, where we are accepting of everybody. But on a fundamental level, we like to say that we accept everyone and everything, but we really don't. Let's be real. I mean, the way we vote alone has shown that, you know?
Yeah, but that's never going to change. So you're always going to have a divide, I think.
Well, yeah.
But
I mean, that's kind of true, I guess. But on BBC, they have a lot more entertaining things for adults, right?
Yeah, we have Doctor Who. BBC is the home of Doctor Who.
Okay, I did not know that.
Has been front since day one. There's always been a BBC show.
I want to get into more UK TV. We have something called BritBox, and it is a streaming service that we can get here in the United States that you pay
Which is
for.
backed by the BBC, I think, as well as some other main people. I think it's a joint venture by like BBC and ITV and shit to package up their box sets and make it available for streaming. I could be wrong, but I feel like it is a joint venture that then shat out BritBox.
There are a handful of British TV shows that I really want to get into a bit deeper.
It's not that deep. I'm waiting.
I'm going to mess up the first name so bad. Fawlty Towers?
That's it. Yeah, Fawlty Towers. Okay. Banger.
Yeah, really, really my good. Friend from Australia told me about that, and
you can't watch it on BBC.
I mentioned it to you the other day. No?
Yes. No, because it's offensive.
Oh,
or it's classed as offensive these days. Yeah, I think it's great, but it's now classed as offensive, and you know the sensitive people among us cry. So BBC have obviously taken it off, been like, "Oh yeah, well, we're really sorry." Same with Little Britain. Little Britain is a banger of a series to watch. Really, really, really good, really funny, but it is offensive, which makes it even
Absolutely
funny.
Fabulous is a very offensive show.
Yeah,
which I love. I've seen like every episode multiple times. I have them on DVD box set here in my house. We could watch it here in the United States now via one of our streaming services. I think it's Hulu that you could watch it at. I used to watch growing up Are You Being Served? The department store comedy show.
No idea.
With Ms. Snookum, I think her name was.
Who?
Where she always talks about her cat, but she refers to it as her pussy, and how she loves to go home and pet her pussy every night. Like, it's things like that. It's offensive for a lot of people, but I just love it.
Yeah,
I just do.
It sounds good.
But the only way I think I'm going to be able to see some of these amazing UK shows is by getting a VPN. I've been thinking about getting one for the past couple of weeks, but I really am moving forward with this, I think. I wonder if I could watch the BBC through a VPN.
BBC is a tricky one because you're supposed to have a TV license in order to watch the BBC. And if you don't, then you get told off, apparently.
So is that like taxes for you?
Kind of.
The license fee?
It's something you got to pay every year, yeah. And if you don't pay it and you have a TV, you're going to get a hefty fine, apparently. It's debatable whether it actually happens, but people come wandering around your house and taking a little look to see if you have a TV or not.
How do you pay it? Does it come out of your check? Like you're working?
No, you got to set up yourself.
Really?
Yeah,
I wonder how many people try to screw the system.
Yeah, a fair amount of people. I think quite a lot of people don't agree with it. I don't think it's amazing, really, especially considering they just make utter shite TV and they remove stuff as well.
So, how much is a license fee for the year?
I don't remember. I don't think it's that expensive.
Well, you pay yours, right?
I do, yeah. I do pay mine.
Remember, people are watching.
Yes, I do pay mine, but it's on a direct debit, so it sorts itself out every year all by itself. It's an annual thing, so I don't actually remember. I have no idea when it's due for renewal. It'll just sort itself out. But I feel like it's over £100 for the year.
Really? That much?
Yeah, I want to say it's like 120. You know what? Just fucking Google it.
That's what I'm doing right now.
BBC license fee cost. It is £174.50 in 2025. It's rising by £5. So there you go. It's a fair amount of money.
Wait. How much was it?
£174.50.
Okay.
I think.
All right. Yeah, what I see here is very similar. Just pretty much $169.50 per year, which is 6.6. I know. Which is a 6.6% increase from the previous year of $159.
There you go. So it's increasing.
But if you have a black and white TV, you only pay $53.50.
Who the fuck is a black and white TV?
I don't know. This is AI.
Fucking AI. I mean, it's probably legit, but I don't know who still has such a thing. Like, who's watching shit on a black and white TV?
What is BBC iPlayer?
That's where you can watch things on demand.
Okay, so you don't need a TV license if you never watch live on any channel, a pay TV service or streaming service, or do you use your iPlayer?
I think you do need to have a TV license if you use iPlayer. Yeah. I believe so. I think there's also a quirk in the license as well, or on the rule, that if you're watching BBC related stuff but using something different to watch it, you still need a TV license. But I could be wrong. I haven't looked all that much into it because, again, I pay my license and I don't give a shit. It is what it is. It's just one of those many things you have to pay for being in this country. And so we deal with it. We deal with the situation.
And you have multiple BBC channels, I see.
Yes, we do. BBC One, BBC Two, BBC Three, BBC Four, so on and so forth.
BBC News.
BBC
you
News.
Have national and local radio stations.
We do, yes.
And you have a website that's all included.
Yeah. Do you know what BBC stands for?
British Broadcasting Company?
Yeah, pretty much. Or Corp, something like that. What about PBS?
Public Broadcasting System.
Okay. Similar enough then.
And right now we have more than 330 local member stations, which is owned independently. We don't produce content directly. It acts as a distributor for content created by member stations or independent producers.
So have you ever paid?
Like Masterpiece.
Okay.
Masterpiece Theater. It's part of a PBS.
Have you ever paid for PBS?
No, but I always wanted to.
Really?
When I was a kid, I wanted to. So to go back to your original question, so a phone drive is when what they'll do is they will commandeer your TV. For me growing up, it was on Channel 13. That was our PBS station in my side of the United States. And they would have these phone drives where your favorite Julia Child used to come on and talk to you, the viewers, in a very non-scripted way and say, because she was a big part of the PBS. You have heard of Julia Child, I assume. Julia Child, the famous cook, the French cook?
No.
Okay. She was a huge part of PBS history. She would go on, during these phone drives, these pledges, and stand there in front of a bunch of people who would be behind them with old landline phones and the phones would ring and they would answer the phone and people would donate money through the phone line for a drive. And they would have these long commercials in between their shows of them really shilling out and begging people to call and donate money to keep their TV station going. Now, the reason why I wanted to do it so bad was sometimes they would do these things where if you donated $50, you would get this Sesame Street tote bag. Or you would get, you like the show that you're watching. If you donate $25, you will get a cassette tape of season 1 of this show. So you would get something for pledging money and donating money, and it's a tax write-off.
Oh, right.
I didn't have to worry about that then, but yeah. You're donating to a charity in a sense.
And you get tax benefits for doing that.
Yeah. And you get
so this is one of the things.
With Big Bird on it.
Score. Fucking a bag of Big Twat on it. Incredible. So this is one of the things that really annoys me with TV in America versus what we get in the UK. And it is the ads that you have and the amount of ads, the duration of ads. So for us, the norm, when you have, for example, say an episode of Friends, you'll have a couple of ads before the episode starts, say at 5 p.m., whatever it is. You'll then have 10 minutes or so, 10, 12 minutes, and then you have an ad break for a few minutes, and then you have the second part of the episode until about 25, 26 minutes past the hour, and then you'll have ads until 5:30 when then something else shows or whatever. So for us, the majority of the time is viewing time and not ad time. But I notice in America with you, your ad breaks last fucking forever. Like 10 minutes long worth of ads. Like trying to watch a film in America, trying to watch a 2-hour film takes 4.5 hours. I was watching Armageddon once, and that took all fucking night to watch that. Because every 10 minutes, ad break. And the ad breaks were longer than the amount of fucking film you were watching. It was mad.
Yeah. And it is annoying, and that's why you pay for streaming and you basically are essentially getting rid of the ads. Kind of like on YouTube. I have a premium YouTube account right now, and I pay monthly to be able to not see ads because it would get really, really annoying watching your favorite YouTuber and there would be commercial breaks during it.
Yep.
Sometimes you had to wait 5 seconds before you can click off of it, but sometimes you had to watch the whole damn ad.
Yeah, it's true. So I should really get YouTube Premium.
It's privilege.
It's not something I've ever done, and I don't know why. I watch a lot of YouTube. I always get pissed off with ads, but it's not something I've purchased. I think the reason why is I have many, many YouTube channels that are sort of signed in different locations and all have their own sort of like history and subscriptions. So I haven't like joined it all up into just one single account that I use everywhere. So that's part of the problem. So I don't know which one to get premium on.
Why do you have so many YouTube accounts?
I just have over the years of different things that I've done and whatnot, and they've just been logged in different places. And so I haven't realized which one I've been using when I subscribed to somebody and started generating that viewing history, and then the recommendations then based off that history. So I've just got several. I've got like 3 or 4, I think, that I seem to have. A different one on this laptop, a different one on the PC, a different one on the TV downstairs. So it's all a bit chaos. I need to sort it out, but it's the bottom of the list of things to do, really.
Right.
It's not exactly
I watch YouTube more than I watch TV. Easily. So it was a no-brainer for me to pay monthly for that. For the privilege of not seeing all these ads pop up.
It is a pain.
I did not know this about the PBS, though. It relies heavily on imported programs, often from the BBC, like Downton Abbey and Sherlock.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. There you go. So you can watch things then.
We can be friends.
It can be. I know the BBC is doing a lot more with America. I know Doctor Who gets a lot of investment now from America because we tried bringing that show to America. I don't know whether it worked, but yeah. Because Doctor Who's been a bit shit recently.
Was a Doctor Who fanatic for years. They're 23 now, but like it would always be they want the latest sonic screwdriver. When David Tennant was in town, they
He
wanted
was
to
the best.
meet David Tennant.
He was peak.
And springtime, winter, fall. What's her name? What's her name from Doctor Who? His assistant.
Well, he has several, so I don't know which one you're referring to.
Oh my God, what was her name? She had Songbird,
River Song.
River Song. That's what it is. Yes.
The Doctor's wife.
So he was able to meet her, and it was a huge thrill for him. And at a certain point, David Tennant was doing a round in the theme parks. And when I found out that they were hitting a theme park close to home, they wanted to make sure that they were there and wanted to know everything about where David was going and what he was doing and did he wear a scarf.
Brilliant.
But after the new Doctor was female, the writing was really bad apparently, and people in the United States wasn't very happy with there being a female Doctor, which I think is ridiculous.
They need to watch more Sesame Street. It'll help them with that diversity.
Well, my kid was fine with it, but it was the writing, I think, that bothered my
The writing
kid.
was shit. The writing was shit, and it did. It was just it just got crap. It just wasn't enjoyable. I gave up watching it. I watched the first season with Jodie Whittaker, whatever her name is, but I think gave up. It just got shy, and then they retconned a massive chunk of Doctor Who lore, and I thought, yeah, fuck off. Yeah, they just changed a massive piece of it. It was annoying. Basically, this is probably a spoiler, but fuck them. There's a whole story of Gallifrey is destroyed, gone, whatever, or stuck in a time lock between the Daleks or whatever. And this is a massive piece of the Doctor Who story when it was rebooted, or when it came back on TV, because obviously it's a continuation from the original run years and years ago, where it had Christopher Eccleston, then Tennant and Matt Smith and whatnot. It was a very different sort of Doctor because they had a lot of regret and anger because of the Time War that you don't see. The Time War took place in between the ending of the original run and the start of the new run. But it leads to Gallifrey being found and finding a way of bringing them back. And there's the big special that the 50th anniversary or whatever anniversary it was a big one where they had several Doctors. They had John Hurt as well, R.I.P., and Matt Smith and David Tennant, all together, where they're trying to rescue Gallifrey and bring it back. And that was really cool because then you had this whole new thing of the Time Lords had returned, and the Doctor had his home back and whatnot. And then with the Jodie Whittaker writing and stuff, they decided just to fucking have the masses destroy all that shit. And there's this whole timeline about the timeless child and other bollocks, and it's just a bag of shit. It really is a bag of shit. So to the point that they had to bring David Tennant back just to spark interest back in the show.
Well, right now, I don't know if it's aired yet, but they got a very famous drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race to become one of the villains in a season coming up or a season that's out now. It was Jinx Monsoon, which is a very talented individual, I will say. Super comedic, great. But she plays Maestro, I want to say her name is.
No idea. I haven't watched it.
Yeah. But they're trying to grab more American influence, I think.
Yay.
In that respect.
Great. It's just what we want.
I was never into Doctor Who. I never watched any of the episodes, and my kid made me sit down to watch one, and I said, okay. They said, we'll watch a Christmas special several years ago. And they said, well, I said, all right, I will watch one Doctor Who Christmas special. And I watched it, and it had absolutely nothing to do with Christmas. The only thing it had to do with Christmas was the town that they were in was called Christmas Town, I think.
Okay.
Horrible. I have no idea. No idea. Let me see if I can find.
Incredible.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, no idea. I don't remember which one that was. So I don't know if that's a more recent one or... No idea. How long ago was this?
10 years.
Oh, Christ. Okay, so
Maybe
could well be
around there.
Smith. Yeah, it could be one of Smith's episodes, perhaps, then. I don't know. No idea. Whilst you're doing that, though, tapping away like an old man, speaking of VPNs, obviously I travel
Yeah.
a lot, as we know. So I have a VPN in my home. I have a network set up that allows me to VPN to my own home. And I do that quite
Okay.
often. If I'm wanting to watch, something on, Netflix or Prime or whatever, and get my usual, UK listing of things, I just connect to my home VPN rather than having to pay for a VPN, because I always hate the other VPNs. They're always bag of shit. But my own one obviously is really, really good, and I can then just appear as though I'm in my house, and that's really handy. It works out well.
I would do it just to be able to watch things from the UK and
Yeah.
other countries, because I have recently learned that it will not protect me from being hacked. So if anyone wants to sponsor us about like cyber protection and me not getting hacked again, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would
I
be
can't
handy.
believe I got hacked. Oh my God, 2024 was a year of crap for me. I got hacked pretty hard too. Motherfuck.
So have you found this episode?
No, it's fine.
Incredible.
It's fine. It was a bad episode anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we don't give a shit, but that's one way to end things. Just didn't find it. Whatever. Moving on.
Yeah. If anybody knows what the hell I'm talking about, as usual,
no one knows what you're talking about.
Nobody.
No one knows. No one knows.
Nobody
No one
nobody
is even going to try
cares,
to find out. To hell with that. It's too much effort.
That's what a lot of people say about me. It's all good.
You're used to it by now. Yeah. Well, there we go. That is a good place to end, I think, on our conversation about the BBC and PBS and Sesame shite. But yeah, so until the next debate.
Mess with Big Bird.
Big Bird, shit bird, fuck off. It is what it is. But until the next one where we talk some more bollocks. But yeah, it's a bye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Bye, Dwayne.
Bye.
Shit. I got